don't. I'm armed.
They went in for an adventure, but what they found was pure nightmare fuel. Tonight, you'll witness 6 terrifying moments that were never meant to be seen. What lurks in the woods might be far darker than you expect. Let's begin. The first video tonight comes from Grassman58, a Washington state-based channel focused on Bigfoot and Sasquatch research. The investigations center on real-time field exploration, footprint analysis, thermal imaging, and audio documentation, often cross-referenced with witness accounts. It is July 4th, 2025, in Gypsy Meadows, Washington State, United States. As darkness settles over Gypsy Meadows, the team prepares their campsite. Twigs snap and leaves rustle in the surrounding forest, causing repeated pauses in conversation. Every small sound draws attention.
To get a little light out, and I was awake, and I was laying there and he was snoring, and all of a sudden I just felt this little whoop and out, and I immediately turned more this way and just started saying, David, 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 trying to get him awake. Got him awake, and I'm like, something just basically stuck, whatever, I don't know what it was, on my thigh, pushed in and pushed back, came back out, and something's out there. I don't know what it is, but something's out there. I didn't know if maybe it was Curtis or somebody. Just, hey, are you guys in there? I don't know. But that was very strange, and he popped out maybe 60 seconds, about 60 seconds probably after, because it took me a couple of Davids to actually get him awake enough to get out and start looking around, but he didn't see anything. And so I laid there, and it was getting lighter and lighter, and
The group discusses tracking strategy, particularly how they will document footprints if anything approaches overnight. Sudden knocking sounds echo against vehicles and nearby objects. The noises are sharp and deliberate enough to cause immediate alarm. At the same time, Candy reports feeling what she describes as a brief touch against her thigh. No one is visibly near her when it happens. The team scans the tree line and checks surroundings, but nothing is seen.
Suddenly we hear a hoot go off just 30 yards up this hill behind the camp right here. And so we jumped out and grabbed our gear. I said, let's go. We're following this thing. Grabbed camera, grabbed our gear, headed up the thing. There was some imprints on the side of the hill that we found there that were old, but we headed up that direction with my camera. And as we're going up the hill, there's a weather station type collection thing up at the top of this hill here. And we were to the right of it, and all of a sudden we hear 3 distinct whoops. These are not hoots. They were like whoop, 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 off to where, towards the X direction and across the road. And I turned to Curtis and I said, look, we are not getting distracted. And right in the marsh, there's a flat area we show in the picture, and we see 2 footprints. One really good one, you can see the toes, and then a second one further out. We measured it to be 16.5 inches long, and then the next stride length was 52 inches between the strides. We went back, we marked things on a stick, and went back and measured it with our measuring thing. When we turn around and look.
Later, large footprints are discovered in marshy terrain. The prints measure approximately 12 to 16 inches in length, with strides estimated up to 52 inches. The investigators compare the impressions to known human and wildlife tracks, noting differences in depth, toe spread, and stride consistency. The prints appear to move in a direct, purposeful path, rather than random wandering.
And I'm like, I don't think it's recording. I hand it over to him. He does get it recording and goes for 2 minutes and 20 seconds or so. And then the camera unexpectedly shut off. We don't know if it was because the batteries in the camera. We don't know if the camera had like an auto shutdown feature, which David Ellis had suggested before. I don't know what the reason was, but it stopped at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It seemed to be pretty stationary.
Whoops, whistles, and unusual vocalizations are recorded late into the night. The sounds do not match typical coyote or owl calls, according to the team's assessment. Audio equipment captures the noises clearly enough for later analysis, reinforcing the sense that something remained in the area after the initial activity. The investigation produces several categories of potential evidence: large footprints, disturbed vegetation, thermal imagery, and unexplained vocalizations. While no clear visual confirmation is obtained, the combination of physical impressions, environmental disturbance, and recorded audio suggests sustained activity in Gypsy Meadows. The team reviews the findings cautiously, emphasizing the importance of continued documentation rather than drawing definitive conclusions. Further exploration is planned to determine whether the pattern of evidence continues over time. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Steve Hayes Adventures, a UK-based outdoor channel centered on solo wild camping, fell walking, and lightweight hiking across the Lake District and northern landscapes. It is February 6th, 2025 in Cumbria, Northern England, United Kingdom. As dusk settles over the fells, Steve finishes pitching his tent beside a tarn. A few distant campers sit roughly 50 meters away, their presence barely noticeable against the open landscape. A loud, deep, guttural call echoes sharply across the crags. The sound is resonant and abrupt, carrying clearly through the cold night air. Steve immediately stops what he is doing. His expression changes from relaxed to alert. He listens carefully and admits he has never heard anything like it before.
I don't think that was a dog like. I've not heard anything like that before. I know you've got some sheep make some strange, So I've put my meal on. I've put my meal on hold, just for a minute. I don't know if I caught that on camera. If I have, I'll put it on. But I heard something there, and I'm sure it wasn't a dog. Couldn't have been that dog.
He considers whether it could have been a dog, but quickly rules it out. Sheep are present on the fells, yet he makes it clear the sound did not resemble livestock. Scanning the darkness beyond his tent, his posture stiffens slightly. The open landscape now feels exposed rather than peaceful.
It's hoping nothing jumps on us in the middle of the freaking night. Anyway, this is nice. Didn't hear any more sounds last night. I want to talk about that in another video. I'll have to do a bit of research on that, actually.
The following morning, he confirms the call was not repeated during the night. Still, he openly admits it unsettled him. In all his previous trips to the area, he has never encountered a sound like that. He suggests he may look into possible wildlife explanations. The camp itself remains uneventful beyond a single unexplained call. There is no movement around the tent, no second sound, and no visual confirmation of anything nearby. Yet in the stillness of a Lake District night, one unfamiliar noise was enough to alter the atmosphere completely. Whether wildlife echoing across the crags, acoustic distortion carried by the terrain, or something less immediately identifiable, the experience remains unresolved, a reminder that even in familiar hills, darkness can change perspective in an instant. The next chilling video comes from Got Out Channel, a US-based nomadic lifestyle creator documenting full-time van life with 2 dogs, focusing on rural camping, off-grid travel, and the realities of staying in remote parts of America. It is March 5th, 2023, at a rural roadside farmland area in Idaho, United States. After leaving several noisy rest areas that unsettled his dog, the traveler pulls off along a quiet rural road. At first, the setting appears ideal: open farmland, a distant cabin, and deer grazing calmly in a nearby field. The atmosphere feels peaceful and spacious, but vehicles begin slowing down as they pass. Some trucks reduce speed noticeably, watching the deer. It becomes apparent that it is hunting season.
And actually, I mean, it's pretty big. Like, I probably should get out of here. I think it's supposed to rain tonight, so we'll probably be okay. I'm going to stay here one more night, but I'm aimed down this road. I can take off in pretty quickly. I can just go right out this road right here. So I feel pretty safe. And there's people still camped up, like I said, about 1.5 miles up this way. But what else has been...
While parked along the roadside, he observes multiple vehicles coming and going, some appearing to assess the field. The isolation that initially felt comforting begins to feel exposed instead.
Someone came and pulled up right here. You can see their tire tracks. They pulled up right into our campsite. The guy got out with his rifle, and I just haven't had anybody pull out a gun in my campsite before, so I got a little scared because I didn't realize that, oh, there's deer out here in this field. I don't know if you can see them. There's 3 deer out there. They've been out there pretty much all day.
The presence of a firearm at such close proximity immediately shifts the tone from relaxed to tense. The hunter raises the rifle and looks through the scope toward the deer in the field. Inside the van, the vlogger watches carefully, concerned about how close the potential shot would be to his vehicle. He questions whether firing across the roadside would be safe given occasional passing traffic.
They didn't go out there to shoot him. The way he pulled off, it was right here, and so he would have had to shoot across the road, which that's illegal. I know that. You're not supposed to shoot across a road. His dog's getting into some stuff. There's some guts over here from deer, a couple deers. The hunters left the stomach linings out. It's pretty disgusting. The dogs keep wanting to go over there and check.
The hunter remains near the road with the rifle. The creator reflects on how unsettling it feels to have someone armed and aiming within such short distance of his overnight stop. He also considers how his dogs might react to a sudden gunshot. After a short time, the hunter remarks that the deer are too far away. No shot is taken. The truck eventually leaves the area. The following morning, deer remains, including stomach lining, are discovered nearby. The dogs attempt to investigate, confirming that hunting activity occurred very close to where he had slept. Although no gunfire came from the immediate campsite, the encounter underscores a different type of vulnerability that comes with roadside van life. During hunting season, rural landscapes are shared spaces, and not always quiet ones. Legal activity can still feel unpredictable when it unfolds within meters of where you are parked. What began as a peaceful stop in open farmland became a reminder that solitude does not automatically mean safety. The next shocking video of the night comes from Exploring the Unknown, a US-based paranormal channel focused on real-time investigations of forests, abandoned areas, and locations associated with unexplained activity. It is January 28, 2024, in a remote woodland area in the United States. The team returns to a section of woods they refer to as their 4 a.m. spot, a location where they have previously reported unusual activity. After setting up their cameras, they begin calling out into the darkness, asking if anything is present and attempting to provoke a response. For the first minute, the environment remains calm. The forest is quiet, and the investigators remark on how peaceful the area feels before anything unusual occurs. While continuing to call out, faint lights appear flickering in the distance through the trees. Almost simultaneously, a branch snaps nearby. The sudden noise breaks the quiet atmosphere and causes the team to pause and listen carefully. Nothing becomes visible, but the investigators begin to feel as though something may be moving around them, just outside the range of their lights.
Maybe I'm just...
What?
She was looking at me, she's like, there's no sound, it went quiet. It was right as the frog was like, and I was like, well, and I was like, I looked this way, can't hear anything.
One investigator suddenly remarks that it feels like someone or something is watching them. Although the camera captures no clear movement, the group becomes noticeably more cautious, scanning the darkness and listening for further sounds. The uncertainty surrounding the feeling heightens the tension of the moment.
It's like...
Yeah. So probably we're coming through a busy time. Nothing's really happening, but honestly, this was pretty nice either way. So
I agree.
I enjoy it.
Whatever we were dealing with that night during the 4 a.m. video was not of the paranormal realm, paranormal spectrum, whatever you want to call it. On one side...
After roughly 15 to 25 minutes without any clear visual confirmation, the team begins discussing what the activity could represent. They suggest that if something is present, it may be a physical presence rather than a paranormal one. The lack of clear evidence makes the situation more unsettling, as they cannot determine whether the noises and lights are environmental, human, or something else entirely. The investigation concludes without definitive answers. Although the team does not encounter anything visibly paranormal, the unexplained lights, snapping branches, and persistent feeling of being watched leave the experience unresolved. Ironically, the possibility that the disturbance might have been caused by a real physical presence feels more concerning than a ghostly explanation. With no clear conclusion, the investigators leave the woodland planning to return another night, hoping future visits might reveal what, or who, was moving through the trees. The next video comes from Moxley's Paranormal World, a UK-based paranormal exploration channel investigating haunted and historic locations. It is July 4th, 2024 in Moran Bay, near St. Patrick's Chapel, United Kingdom. The investigator and his son, Bradley, finish setting up their campsite on the cliff overlooking the chapel ruins. Night has fully taken hold, and the coastline is almost completely dark apart from their torches and small equipment lights. They activate spirit communication devices and check camera positioning before moving cautiously through the graveyard and chapel remains. Both remain composed, but alert, quietly acknowledging each sound as they continue documenting the environment.
What the f***?
I seen Bradley put a torch or something on. Right, you can see the lights now. You can see their lights. God damn it, the camera's not picking them up. There's 100% somebody else down there. Bradley's on the cliff. Just here. There's somebody else below the cliff. Right. I'm going to head over to Bradley, make sure he's okay. I'm going to head over to Bradley to see if he's okay. I'm going to continuously record this. Because there's somebody down there. So I do apologise about some of the shaking of the camera. I'd like to cut out, but I'm not going to be cutting this out. I need to make sure he's okay. Because I said to him, if you need me, flash a torch over. I thought I was in a flash, that's what made me look. But that could have been them, I don't know. But there's 100% somebody else below where Bradley is.
While standing near the chapel ruins, sudden bangs echo nearby. The rustling feels closer this time. Shadows shift briefly across the stonework, though no clear figure is identified. The moment is short but sharp, increasing the sense that something, or someone, may be nearby.
Trying to keep it low key, apart from now where I've just had to turn the light on. It's definitely, I don't know if it's the same people or different people, but there's definitely somebody else out and about, so I'm going to turn the lights off for a bit. I'm going to try and get a little bit of sleep. Time to put lights out for a short while. Right, so we both just sat having a bit of a snack, and we just heard some of the weirdest screams coming from right there. And I'm telling you now, it was no animal. It was no animal, that. I don't think it was. I say it was coming from over.
As the night continues, intermittent noises persist, what they describe as screams in the distance, faint whispers, and shifting shadows around the campsite perimeter. Nothing definitive is captured visually, but the repeated disturbances sustain an uneasy atmosphere.
Hey, would you like to come forward? Come and speak to me? I'm here to listen to whatever you've got to say. If you are here, can you come and tell me your name? You might not be familiar with the device in my hand.
I've been here 200 years.
I've been here 200 years. If you've been here 200 years, can you tell me who you are, please? I'm just here to speak to you. I believe this place has got a lot of connections to Vikings, early Catholics. There's even been pirates.
Green eyes.
Green eyes. That's a new word. There's even been pirates that have been reported to have once come here. What do you mean by green eyes?
Impose.
Impose. Can you tell me where we are? If you're really around me, speaking to me, can you tell me this place where I'm sat right now? Did you have any connections to the...
Good.
Good. Did you have any connections to St. Patrick's Chapel?
With dawn beginning to break, they pack up their equipment. Although no clear visual evidence is secured, both describe the location as carrying a heavy, oppressive feeling throughout the night. The combination of unexplained sounds, movement in the dark, and ambiguous spirit responses leaves the experience unresolved. The investigation unfolds gradually, beginning with environmental noises, followed by brief shadow movement, unexpected human presence, and subtle spirit communication responses. No concrete proof of paranormal activity is obtained, yet the consistent disturbances and overall atmosphere leave a strong impression. Moran Bay's chapel ruins and burial grounds remain a location that feels unsettled, whether due to history, environment, or something less easily explained. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. All right, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Exploring with Bear, a US-based wilderness adventure channel documenting solo camping and overnight expeditions in remote forests. It is February 25th, 2026 in a remote snow-covered forest, United States. Bear finishes setting up camp in the snow, checking what he calls an offering tree and scanning the surrounding tree line. The forest is largely silent, broken only by occasional distant twig snaps. He prepares coffee and keeps his attention fixed beyond the tent, aware that nightfall in deep winter woods can change the atmosphere quickly.
Outside the tent. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. No, I'm armed. Hey. God, that was something right outside. It just hit outside the tent. I'm thinking about just making a break for the truck. I'm just taking my bag. I don't even care about this other stuff right now. I know. Something just freaking attacked the camp. Literally right outside the door. How am I gonna do this? Hold on. Oh, shit. Did you hear that? I'm telling you. This is freaking nuts, man. Holy smokes, there's a tree there. There's a tree. There's just a tree thrown there. Okay, we're going to the truck. Man. Hold on.
Later, clear footsteps crunch through the snow nearby. The movement sounds heavy and controlled, circling closer to the tent rather than passing by at a distance. Bear's breathing becomes more strained as he listens, trying to determine direction and proximity. The situation escalates rapidly. Objects begin striking near the tent. Snow and debris scatter. At one point, a large piece of timber, described as a whole tree, crashes down directly in front of his shelter. The impact forces an immediate decision. Bear grabs only essential items and exits the area quickly, abandoning most of his gear and leaving the tent behind.
Alright, so I'm down the road quite a bit. Juices are gone. I should have known. I don't think nothing like that's happened for a long time though. Probably over a year. That was insane. That was a tree. That was like a whole freaking tree thrown right in front of the tent. Whew. Man, I was really, the way that sounded. And then there's that probably my coffee pot. My coffee pots.
Reaching the relative safety of his truck, Bear appears physically shaken. He is visibly cold and breathing heavily, recounting what just occurred. He emphasizes how close the objects landed and how little warning there was before the escalation. The night transitions from controlled solitude to chaotic retreat. Initial signs, reflective eyes and knocking, develop into footsteps, followed by physical objects being thrown near the tent. Whether wildlife behavior, human interference, or something unidentified, the intensity forces him to prioritize safety over investigation. The experience highlights the vulnerability of solo winter camping in remote wilderness. In deep forest isolation, even a brief escalation can demand immediate action. Bear leaves with relief that he avoided injury, and with unanswered questions about what approached his camp that night. And that wraps up another dive into the unknown. If you're into spine-chilling footage and unexplained encounters, hit that subscribe button and stick around. We've got more coming, and it only gets weirder from here.